meet.
what got you out of that place? The pills and the heroin addiction. What kind of, if anyone, anyone's having a similar experience, how would you say that they could bring themselves out of it?
Okay, simple. It's I hate saying that it's simple, but I really I had I sent you a comic, and I don't think that I have put it up on the blockchain art exchange yet because it's actually a few pages from my graphic novel that I'm working on now.
Yeah.
I mean,
I,
if you feel like putting it on the
yeah,
screen,
I've
go
been
for
putting
it.
a few
But
on the screen. I'll find it. Which one is it? One of the first few that you sent?
it's no, it was one of the more recent ones I sent you, and it looked like unfinished because it was being worked on. It's up there's right there. It's pages like that where I had a bunch of near fatal overdoses in Philadelphia, and I was going through a real hard time. I lost a brother to an overdose years ago. I ended up because of it. So many negative things happened to me. I lost apartments, jobs, girlfriends, relationships, family. They, distanced themselves from me. I was locked up for a while, and um, you know, I the only thing that really got me out of it was on the last overdose I had was when I was coming from Philadelphia. I was going to a rehab in New Jersey. I'd planned on going to the rehab because things had gotten so out of control, and I actually overdosed in the van on the way to rehab. Um, and when I came to, I came to in the middle of some hospital in New Jersey. I had no idea what was going on. They were talking. They were saying he's from Philadelphia, da da da. And I was thinking in my head, Philadelphia. What are you talking about? Like I don't know anything about Philadelphia. When I finally came out of it, I I literally prayed. I was like, God, you got to help me. Um, I don't know how to pray to you, God, but I was like, Jesus, please help. And next thing I knew, I was in a rehab. They offered me a scholarship there to continue, so I stayed there, which it was extremely rare. They never gave out scholarships. They were gonna like kick me out into the snow, like homeless in a blizzard, in a snowstorm, and literally I got on my knees and prayed. And when I got on my knees and prayed, I don't know what happened, but Jesus was looking out for me, dude.
Yeah.
Because I went to the rehab. They put me on medication assisted therapy, which if you're, I don't know how it is in Tokyo or London, but it's, they do things like Suboxone or methadone. And it really, it really took uh, seeing the pain that I caused to family members and friends and loved ones. When I saw that and saw how like God had given me not just a second chance, not a third chance at life. Like I'm more than when you hear a cat has 9 lives, I way beyond a cat.
Yeah.
um, they've brought me back to life in numerous states, which is something I'm not proud of. But it's something that like I'm really trying to tell in my story. Like my book is as cheesy as it sounds, it's gonna be, you know, like a triumph of the human spirit type book. Like, God really pulled me out of this and just gave me a second chance at life. I have an amazing girlfriend. I have a family that fully supports me. Um, I I work a recovery program. I have a sponsor that I don't call nearly enough. Sorry, Charles, if you're listening or you ever watch this, I will give you a call and we'll get some coffee. But it just takes a want. You have to want to get clean. you can't, it's sad to say, but until a person wants it, there's nothing you can do.
Yeah.
You can't drag them into rehab. You can't trick them or beg them or plead with them. Like there's nothing you can do until you hit your rock bottom and you just decide like, hey, uh, you ever seen the movie Train Spotting?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, you know the end where he's like, choose life, choose a career. Da, 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 da. That's it.
Yeah.
that's that's exactly what happened. Is except mine involved, my mom and girlfriend and everyone around me praying for me a whole lot. But it it changed it changed everything. It changed my art. It changed my interests. Um, I would have never taken the time to sit down and be interested in crypto or anything like that. But, I've had the time to get a new iPad with Procreate and the little pencil that I can draw on my iPad. And I love it. And digital art is something that I've really been working on and trying to like hone my abilities because it's not my main medium.
Yeah.
I prefer pen and ink on Bristol board. And I have sketchbooks all over.
Oh yeah.
And like
So
I
that's a really inspiring story, and thank you so much for being willing to share that. It really means a lot. And I
no
wanted,
problem.
I mean, and kind of leading from there, I wanted to ask this. So the comic that you're working on, it's about your life. Is it purely focused? What period is it mostly focused on, or is it the whole thing?
It's going to be the whole thing. It's I've already almost finished the script. And once you put together first few pages, the script and the outline, you look for an agent. It's the next step. So I'm really planning on doing that this by Christmas time. I want to have found an agent for my book. But my book is going to be called Iatrogenic. I think I sent you a
Yep.
drawing of
I'll
a
put the
you
yeah
got
yeah.
a
I've got that up on screen now.
you've got a sneak preview of some of the stuff from my book. But yeah, right there, iatrogenic. It's doctor caused addiction. That's what the term iatrogenic means. And basically, I'm going to focus on the 20 years of entirely crazy shit that happened in my life. But I want to do a split where most of the book is going to be black and white. The negative is going to be black and white, drab, dreary, but then there will be bursts of color when something good, a period of good happened in my life, or something where there was a period where I was clean and things were good. Because during that 20 years, it wasn't all bad. I
Yeah.
wouldn't say it was all. It was there was amazing times in that those 20 years. Um, I ended up uh, I had numerous injuries because I skateboard and I broke ankles. I got hit by a car on a scooter, broke my ankle, had to get surgery, broke my knee skateboarding, and multiple wrists, ribs, sternum, just you name it, I've broken it pretty much. And on one of my last injuries I was laid up listening to a podcast of I Am Rappaport, Michael Rappaport's podcast, and just laughing my ass off because it was I'll be honest, I haven't listened to it in probably a year ever since I stopped. I used to be the official cartoonist for the I Am Rappaport podcast. I don't do it anymore. I still talk to Michael Rappaport. He's still a good dude. I'll message him here and there, but it kind of he kind of took a more political spin with it, the way that he's gone with it, and that just wasn't my interest. So I had to focus on other things. But while I was working with him, the way it happened was hilarious. I messaged him through Instagram. I messaged their main page through Instagram, and I said, "Hey, I'm a huge fan. Is there any way you could send me out a T-shirt?" Because they were giving out T-shirts to like their best fans, their biggest fans, and I was like, "I just got hit by a car," and I'm trying to think. It wasn't the skateboarding. It was the hit by the car one. I was like, I just got hit by a car, broke my ankle. I'm laid up and I'm listening to your podcast. can I get a shirt, dude? All I'm doing is drawing comics and listening to your podcast. I get a message 15 minutes later, and it's like, hey, this is blah blah blah. I'm gonna leave his name out. This is the editor for the, or not the editor, it's turned the producer for I Am Rappaport, and he's like, we love your comics. He's like, Rappaport and I are sitting here laughing at him. Would you be interested in doing comics for the podcast? I'm like, I said, are you kidding me? Of course. I jumped at it. And the first comic I did was the one that says "Wigga please." It's
Yeah.
just like his little character saying "Wigga please," and it was. I think the first comic I did was making fun of Drake and Justin Bieber. I was poking fun at quite a few people, like the Kardashians. Made a lot of jokes about the Kardashians. A lot. Uh, it was all pop culture, all very. There was a lot of stuff to work with.
Yeah.
Just making
It's just kind of lampooning
caricatures and
modern
making,
culture.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And it was a blast. A lot of cartoonists started stepping in and started trying to do their own versions of Michael Rappaport. And the funny thing is one of my last comics I did was like a joke. It was a joking battle cartoon where I drew each different cartoonist their style of Michael Rappaport, and then my guy of Rappaport saying, I'm the official cartoonist, da 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 da. They all liked it. They got a kick out of it. I still talk to some of those guys on Instagram, but it was a good time. Like, I drew a lot of cartoons and a lot of stupid, silly Instagram messages about nothing. I remember one time I was standing in line at a barbecue place in Orlando, and my phone goes, me, it buzzes. I look at it, and it's a text from Michael Rapport saying, there's a phantom duker on the loose in Los Angeles. And I'm like, what? What? And he's like, there's a guy that's pooping in people's lawns and running off, and they can't find this guy. He's like, you got to draw a cartoon about it. And I showed it to my friend who was next to me, and he started cracking up. He's like, no way. So that's the kind of stuff that I was doing at the time. I was just making stupid jokes, stupid comics about things, and I guess my